Resta solo Tevez al limite dell'area, fa fuori tutti Tevez, si apre la porta, Tevez, gol, da dietro, Pirlo dentro, gol.
All right, ciao Juventini. Welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel. Of course, all Juve all the time. It's match day. I got Lucci with me. We're going to get you hyped up and ready for Juve versus Roma. And we have a special guest with us today, all right? He's left the bleachers, okay? So he's had enough of that, and he said it's time to jump on and mix it up. Here's Lorenzo. Lorenzo, how's it going, my man?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for today. A little nervous, but I think I'm ready.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's going to be a big match.
Oh, yeah. We'll see how everybody's feeling out here in the live chat. We got Bob. Good morning, tutti. Happy Saturday match day. He's always ready to go. Tom Snipes. Ciao, ragazzi. Hope you're doing well. Forza Juve. Let's go. Let's go. Kush. Ciao, Juventini. Hope it's a good day and a win. Yes, we're all hoping for that win. And we're going to tackle all the news first, okay? So we'll get into some of the news that broke out today, and then we're going to dive into Juve versus Roma. We got Jeremiah jumping in here and Vito as well. Morning, tutti. Ciao, tutti. Let's see what we can do. And we do have a team member in Turin for this match right now, and Mr. Cappuccino jumping in here. Joe,
what's
how's
up,
the feelings
guys?
in Turin, my man?
Look what I got behind me.
Oh, yes.
See?
Beautiful, man. Allianz
We're
right
at home,
there.
baby.
So you getting ready to meet Maurizio from around Turin right now, or what?
So I actually just had lunch with him. It was delicious, I gotta say.
Nice.
I just had lunch with him. Amazing guy. Met Juventini from all over the world. I'm talking Finland, Sweden, Brazil, some fellow Canadians. So I'm actually here early because I'm about to do a walkthrough of the locker rooms,
that's sick.
the field, and all that stuff, thanks to Juve Club Empire State. So
That's
why I'm
awesome,
here a little
man.
bit early. I'm going to meet up with them afterwards, so you'll get all that stuff. But yeah, had to show up a little early.
That's beautiful, man. Beautiful. Well, enjoy everything, the whole around Turin experience. Look forward. Joe's going to obviously even vlog that for everybody. So if anybody's thought about what it's like and what Maurizio actually provides, we look forward to putting that video out once on Joe's return, obviously, and then breaking it down. But that's awesome, man. What's your feeling for this game? Think Juve's going to pull it through or what?
So I was talking with everybody at lunch, and the one thing that we can unanimously, decide is that Dybala is probably going to score today. So that is unanimous. But we're thinking that Juve can pull it off. It might not be pretty, but we're feeling a close 2-1 game. That's the feeling right now. So,
Yeah. I could see that, and it could be that 2-1 either way. It's interesting too because you got two teams. Obviously, both have kept clean sheets in their first two games, but Roma has allowed a lot of opportunities, and Juve did as well against Samp. Well, a couple. So it's going to be interesting to see who breaks first in this one, and that could be key. A couple of different sides, though, totally. Like Roma's attack is good, susceptible at the back, whereas we're kind of different. We struggle in creation. So it's anybody's guess for me what's going to go down. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to talk to you about Milik and the thoughts of everybody there and their Mercado and wrapping up with Milik and potentially it looks like Paredes. What was the kind of vibe there from Juventini?
I mean, if from what I'm gathering, nobody is too excited about it. But if it allows the club to get another reinforcement like Paredes, then that seems to be okay. That's what the general consensus seems to be for that. So yeah, Milik is certainly far from the sexiest signing of the summer, but if it from what I've also been reading on Twitter and talking to everybody, if it frees up the funds to get Paredes, then that much the better.
Yeah. If it would have been just Depay, maybe it is better to get Milik and Paredes. We'll see. Time will tell, right? It depends how big of an impact Paredes can have, which, that's, again, anybody's guess. We'll see. The biggest thing is, really, it's all up to Max. It's all up to Max, man. He's got to put it together. Yep. Joe, that's awesome, though, man.
The other thing that we talked about a lot during lunch was the midfield that they're trying out. There have been reports that, it's going to be Locatelli and Rovella, double pivot maybe, and McKennie in the hole as kind of like, you remember the period of time when Arturo Vidal was occupying that role?
Yeah.
Thinking that maybe something like that will happen. I would like to see what would happen with that, but we shall see. That is what the people want. So
yeah, that's an interesting shout. I think it's, I don't know. For me, it's just who plays that hole position if you go 2-man pivot, and if we're gonna do it with McKennie, that's where my concerns lie. But it'll be interesting. I've seen them both. I've seen all these mixes on lineups. We're gonna get into that later. Joe, your quick thoughts on the Champions League group and how people are feeling on Champions League right there.
I mean, I think that you hit the nail on the head earlier when the group was drawn, and you said it's going to be tricky. Benfica is certainly no slouch. PSG is also one of those games where I want to say we'd be happy with a draw, not exactly terrible, not great. But I don't see why we couldn't come out on top of that group. Depending on what happens with those games, those 2 games will certainly, or I should say, those 4 games will certainly be tough. It is a very tricky group, because they have teams that can do damage any given day. It just depends on 1, how we show up, and 2, how they show up. So it's tough. It's tough.
It's got banana peels written all over it, that group, and I just hope we avoid them. But so are you heading now to the stadium for the walkthrough?
I still have about 20-ish minutes, but I gotta find the proper.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna let you go, brother. Appreciate you jumping on. That's awesome. Everybody's pumped to see you there. We look forward to the vlog of your trip, man. So thanks, Joe. Take care, brother.
Ciao.
All right, so hearing from Joe Cappuccino over there and hearing all the thoughts from Juventini and the vibes over there, and he's obviously meeting Juventini from all around the world, which is awesome. That's what Maurizio does. If you guys, I know there was some messages here about people trying to get over there. Jeremiah, it's his dream and whatnot to head over there soon. We will bring you and showcase exactly what Maurizio does, which is actually just a fantastic initiative. I wish I knew about it when I was over there in 2018. But I look forward to taking that experience in one day. Now, guys, so Milik signing and whatnot. We got Joe's vibes about it, and like the general feeling over there is if it was going to end at just Depay, now all of a sudden, if it means Milik and Paredes step up better, does it make you feel better about it? Like, what are you guys' thoughts on Milik coming into this squad? And let's start with our guest, Lorenzo.
Yeah, I mean, Milik's a fine depth signing. It's not a long-term commitment, so if it doesn't work out, you can just go back to Marseille. So, I don't have high expectations or anything. It's just getting another striker.
Yeah, it's pretty much just getting that coverage there. It's like Depay would have been. See, my thing is this, and I'll see if you guys agree. There was some risk involved, more risk involved with Depay than there is in this Milik thing. This Milik thing, Juve can dust it off and walk away at the end of this year if they want to, right? With Depay not knowing 100% what the demands actually ended up were, because all we were getting was mixed reports, 2 years, 3 years, 5.5, all of a sudden 8.5. Like, what was it actually? I don't think anybody can really tell. And the other thing is, if he comes in, he either flops or he's just a backup and can't get it together and is a backup on that money. Would we not have been more upset with that route and then being tied to him? Like, I don't know. This at least is low risk. And again, if it means the difference of bringing in Paredes and hopefully, fingers crossed, unlocking the midfield, that might be the better route. Luch, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't have high expectations for Milik, whatever, however you pronounce it. Maybe the odd goal, but again, is he going to play with Vlahovic? Is he going to be vice Vlahovic? How many opportunities is he actually going to get to make a difference or score a goal? The thing with Paredes, again, you're giving him $7 million in wages. Is he worth that much? Is he going to be healthy enough to be worth that much? There's a lot of questions about that one too. I think my concern is that we're going for quantity, not quality. And that seems to be a going theme over the past couple of years with this team. We're not going for players that will actually make a huge difference to this team. And again, we're, as much as Paredes might be to unlock Locatelli to go to, move to one of the sides, again, do we not think Rovella's good enough to play on this team? Is he gone? They're gonna sell him? They're gonna loan him? What's the plan there? I just think long term, I don't know, tying up another $7 million in him is probably not the best route to go, but I guess Allegri thinks it's worth it.
It's a tough call. Yeah. Well, for whatever, his reasons are, this seems like Paredes is his guy right now that he's looking for. Right. So, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, whether or not it's actually going to work out the way he wants. And Rovella, long term, if we saw this guy's future with Juve and whatnot, it would make sense to roll with it and work it out now, and maybe put that money towards that forward if it was Depay or somebody else, right? But that's just it. It feels like they had to make a decision. It's either we go up top with this money or we go in the middle with this money. And for whatever reason, Max is deciding that it's got to be in the middle. So there's something there that he would rather Paredes be the guy that comes in, right? I would love for Rovella to stay and get the minutes, and we try to work them in. But I don't know if this game's going to be a good indication of whatnot of Max being able to change. And I said it after Sampdoria, and I said, basically, I have this feeling in my gut that Juve's not going to progress and change unless Max actually changes. Because if the guys that are coming into the lineup, these young guys, are the ones that are giving us what we're missing, which is energy, the determination, just the work rate that we're needing out of that midfield. If they're the ones bringing it and he won't reward them with the starts, I don't really know how I feel about the whole thing in general, right? Because you can't keep going out with a midfield consisting of McKennie and Rabiot, Zakaria and Rabiot. 2 out of those 3 don't work for me. And if you consistently ask the same questions, where's the creativity? Who's going to bring that? And then you're going to back it up with McKennie as a trequartista when you have a Moretti that can do it. Fagioli is out injured. I saw the question here in the live chat. Fagioli's hurt, muscular injury. So surprise. If you're going to continue to do these things rather than use these guys simply because of age and experience, but they have the abilities to do what you need in that certain role, that's eventually, this is why Juventini lose patience with Max. This is what sparks all the the heat and the Allegri out, and even if it's way too early, and I won't write the book on him, 2 games into a season, but that's the stuff that frustrates the fans, is that, you would rather not try this guy for simply what? What is it that you cannot play this guy if they're on our team sheet, if they're on our lineup, and they have their game is literally what you need? I don't understand it if it's not simply because of age and trust. There comes a time where Max has to change, and you have to trust who you have. And this is how you grow as a team, because the players themselves, I fail to believe that the players themselves wouldn't have faith in these young guys coming in and wouldn't trust them and wouldn't back them. That's how you grow as a team. You have to trust each other. The players need to trust each other on a pitch. But if I was out there on that pitch in creation, I'd probably trust these young guys a hell of a lot more than some of the guys that I'm seeing out there, because I know what Rabiot's going to bring. I know exactly what he's going to bring game in and game out. And if you're looking for creation and goals, you're going to get 1 goal a season, 2 goals tops. This talk about 7, 10 goals, it ain't happening, Max. So then you slap McKennie on the other side, and now all of a sudden a guy with limited technical ability, this is the guy you're putting trust in as a trequartista. When you have Moretti, whose touch is incredible touch, good vision. This is where the patience starts in. How do you guys feel about that?
I think you nailed it perfectly. I can't disagree at all. See, for me, I don't hate McKennie. I think he's a good depth option, but he's not that guy you want, supplying your wingers or your striker. He doesn't have the ability to do that. He doesn't have the vision, doesn't have the creativity. Yes, we know he likes to run back and forth. That's great. But when it comes to actual talent and skill, he's just not at the level as we can see Moretti already is, or, Locatelli, or whoever else. Even Fagioli has, more talent. It's frustrating because that's not his best spot for McKennie. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a tough one to figure out. Lo, what are your feelings? Do you have those frustrations? Are you waiting for, one of these young guys to get in there? And it looks like, so as we're kind of tackling this news, again, the Rovella to Monza discussion has basically come up. Okay, so those reports are surfacing that this week could be that week. And that 100% ties into the fact that the Paredes deal is very, very close and down to the final details. So it looks like Paredes in, Rovella out on loan. So just take that into your answer, Lorenzo, and how you feel like.
Yeah, I know Lucci and I are part of the Rovella hive, so we're definitely disappointed about Rovella possibly going on loan in Monza. But yeah, I mean, going back to what you said out, we've seen the team improve drastically in the last game when Moretti came on for McKennie. I mean, it was night and day. We started creating. We got a goal that was offside, and that was all due to Moretti's through ball. So, we've seen the solutions at times with the squad we have. We just don't see it from the start for whatever reason. Yeah. And that's down to the coach. So that's the frustrating part, is we see it at times come through. Fans see the solution. Even the coach from time to time sees the solution. But for whatever reason, there's that fear to start with it. So that's going to be explained.
I mentioned on the Discord this morning, if you guys are not on that, get on there.
Absolutely, yeah. And I didn't realize somebody brought it up that the link in the description actually times out, so I didn't realize that. So I'll put a new one out on Twitter today. We'll post a new link for it, and then go from there. So go on, Luch.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so what happens when, Paredes has an injury or a suspension, or, he can't play for whatever other reason? Are we expecting Locatelli to slide back in there? And then we have the same issue with McKennie and Rabiot on each side again. That way, if you do keep Rovella, you have a real option there. If Paredes can't play or he's not playing well, whatever the case may be, it gives you options. It could also give you an option to move Paredes to a side or play a double pivot. To me, it just doesn't make sense because you have all of Zakaria, Rabiot, McKennie, all similar type of midfielders. You don't need all three. You need maybe 1 to 2 of that type, and you need some creativity. You need a Rovella, you need a McKennie, Moretti, you need a Locatelli. It gives you something different. When you have 2 or 3 midfielders that give you the same characteristics, we're gonna get what we've been seeing with that three midfield.
It's gonna be an interesting one. We're gonna dive in now a little more to this actual game that we have today. I want to give a shout out here because I see in the chat here we have a birthday. So happy birthday! I do hope that Juve gives you a very nice win today. Okay, so we'll see if we can they can make that happen. We all hope they do, of course. We're keeping tabs on here in the chat and seeing what's going on. But yeah, the thoughts are very, very similar to kind of what we're feeling, and just waiting for that change, waiting for that just basic progress, like that growth and whatnot. And Lucci actually brought up a great point there with Paredes, is that if it doesn't work out, say it doesn't work out in that spot or whatnot, yeah, you're kind of that one's a little bit more locked in, and then you've kind of pushed away a young guy that would have something a little more long term. It's a tough one. It's a tough call. But Max, hey, I did say this. While we have some frustrations and some concerns about whether or not he's going to put it all together, which he absolutely has to, whether we have those concerns or not, whoever the manager is, Juve has had to back them. So if this is the route he wants to go, we kind of have to go. And Juve's done a good job of not, like, they're being smart about the contracts and everything. So we're not in a position where if Max all of a sudden, like, if it doesn't work out and they do decide, hey, we're going to cut ties, in the future, whatever, let's just say they do before they want to break that contract. There is an out, which was reported last year. If we don't make top 4, okay, we can break that without any financial issues or whatnot. But say we make top 4, they want to make a change. The moves they have made so far have not handcuffed them in order to start to take shape for another manager. If anything, it gets easier this year because Cuadrado, Sandro, Rabiot, like all these are coming to an end naturally. Yeah. So a lot of that cleanup gets done this season. And I've been saying this, and before we jump into the Juve Roma thing, I put out an assessment to kind of give an overview of how I'm looking at this whole project, this whole Cherubini and Arriva Bene thing. And it's, for me, 3 phases. But the first phase, we're still in this first phase. And we've been stuck in this first phase for a while because they didn't treat it properly with Sarri and they didn't treat it properly with Pirlo. So we're still phase 1, which is cleanup. Okay, so Cherubini and Arriva Bene have done a great job. They're cleaning up the salary. We saw a huge wage reduction. Okay, and if they can finalize a move, maybe Zakaria, we don't know, but maybe a little more capital coming in. The De Ligt money doesn't start coming in till next season, okay? But they've done a big cleanup. After this year, we just brought up those contracts. A bunch of your cleanups already done without you having to do anything. Then they can start to work on phase 2, which is bolster the starting 11. And then beyond that, you're looking at depth, right? And then bringing in some serious depth, impact from the bench and whatnot. They do have key pieces and have done a good job of, while going through this cleanup, bringing in Vlahovic. Zakaria might be on the move, but I like the pickup. And there was a lot of teams after him, right? Big teams. But we'll see what happens there. But you have Locatelli. You have Bremer that you've brought in. Chiesa is going to come back. Like, the spine is there to move forward with, right? So they've done all that. Phase 2 will kick off next season. How long phase 2 takes? Will it all be done next summer? I don't expect that either. So you're probably another couple seasons to truly bolster 11 and depth. And then from there, it's sustainability. The biggest factor in all this, through this transition and rebuild, is getting a coach that can put it together until you get to that point. So Max has a lot of pressure on him. You guys agree with that assessment on the phases and where we're at still phase 1? And yeah, just your thoughts on me breaking it down that way.
Go ahead, Lolo. We'll let you take this one.
Yeah, I mean that makes total sense. I think we're still kind of at the tail end of the phase one. We've got our key players. It's just, we have our guys, Sandro, Rabiot,
The
that
dead weight. We got to push them out.
that naturally are going to be out after this season. Rabiot unfortunately couldn't move to Man U for his wage demands. So once that gets out, we can start to address the real problems within the squad, get a real left back. And after that, we can probably move into that phase two. And I think that's a great breakdown of how you kind of transition a project into a sustainable model.
Yeah, Lucci, you agree?
Yeah, I think so. And I just to add on to that, not being able to move Rabiot and Artur this summer really hurt any plans we had to buy a left back or, bolster the attack even more. So I think people not maybe realizing how much the wages or the effect of these Artur and Rabiot have on this, on our overall finances. So it's unfortunate, but we kind of expected it was not going to be easy for them to be moved.
I think the interesting thing that's breaking out now, like with this news coming through, is that it always felt like one of those moves in the middle was to free up Paredes, but now it doesn't even look like that was the case. Yeah. So maybe that whole Rabiot thing was in fact for Depay. Like it's an interesting thing, right? So it looks like now without one of those moves happening, it became one or the other.
Yeah.
That's how I start to look at it. Like Milik is cheap.
Yeah.
2 million loan, 8 million option to purchase next year. Like I said, low risk, walk away. And at the end of the day, it's just a backup to Vlahovic. But I don't know. We'll get to this Roma thing now. So great insight on the news from Lo and Lucci, and then everybody in the live. You guys are great. It was awesome seeing Joe Cappuccino. Hopefully he brings Juve some luck there. Okay, but let's get into Roma and Juve. Okay, we talked about this. We talked about Roma 2-0, couple of 1-0 victories. Salernitana, Cremonese. They've got firepower, but those aren't the guys picking up the goals right now. Okay, but they're getting a ton of opportunities, but they're also giving up a ton of opportunities. Juve, 1 win, 1 draw, 2 clean sheets. Perin still going to get the start, even though Tech's in the lineup sheet. I like that. You guys like that too? Lucci's got the thumbs up. Low?
Absolutely. Yeah. We kind of pretty.
Regardless of Tech and whatnot, if he is going to be the number one, I don't think you should ever come back into a match that's this big. Perin's got the 2 clean sheets. He's arguably been our best player. Let him roll with that. Great interview, actually, and I retweeted it off the AJC main account. TLN posted it, and it was Perin speaking about Juventus and whatnot. He said some great stuff. I like that he said, sure, I could have went away. I could have played 400, 500 appearances, but what would it have mattered if I fought for nothing? He said, I'd rather come here. And he goes, last season, I got to play in 2 finals. Granted, we didn't win them, but he goes, I'm fighting for them. I got to play in Champions League, and to me, that it's all about ambition. So I love Perin, and he gave us a luxury because now when Tech went out, we had a number 1 keeper. So there's not a lot of clubs that have that. So I've got a lot of respect for Mattia Perin, and I love the guy. So I'm backing him today. Love it. Love that we're going with him. Before we take a deep dive to Juve Roma, let's have a little fun and get a little trivia going here. So we got Lorenzo, we got Lucci. Only 3 questions, okay? Not very, very difficult. We'll see if the live chat takes it down or you guys take it down. So everybody remembers the wild victory we had last season. The very last match we played Roma, okay? 4-3 victory. Juve was down 3-1 at one point. Give me the next 3 goal scorers for Juventus that saw us turn the tide and win it 4-3.
Okay, so Locatelli was 1.
Yeah.
MDS. Boom. MDS was the last. I'm trying to remember.
It's the middle one. It's the middle one that's tough. Is it Morata?
That's what I was thinking, but I don't think it was. I want to say it came off a corner.
Who was that goal scorer? Oh, we've got the live chat all over it.
Oh,
Three in a
wow.
row. Boom. 3 in a row.
The Swedish model?
Cool.
It was the Swedish model, wasn't it?
Kulishevsky. So well done, boys. 2 out of 3. Getting some help from the live chat. We do have a question here, and our boy Anthony, he's right. Like the video. Let's go. Everybody that's in here live, let's go. Like this video right now. If you're new here, obviously subscribe to the channel. I will have the watch along. So I don't know if anybody else is on Fubo. Okay, I picked up Fubo this year, whatnot. Awful commentating. So come check out the live watch along, and I'll bring you some real commentating. Okay, and we'll have some fun. I like to crack some jokes too while we watch a match. Helps ease the tension when I'm so nervous on these big games. Okay, but watch along today. Somebody brought up a question about the trivia for the jersey giveaways tomorrow. Tomorrow, the 3 participants are being named on the post-match podcast. So make sure you're here, okay? We're going to name the 3 who are going to take part in that challenge, okay? Now, the next question for you. 198 matches between Juventus and Roma. How many victories for Juventus? 198 total matches.
95.
I was going to say 102.
102 from Lucci. Lo, what are you going with?
95.
95. So we have 132,
Jesus.
Jeremiah, 85, Kush, 89, 105 from Martin, 101 from Vito. My God, Lo, it's 95.
Wow.
Boom.
Unbelievable.
There you go, Anthony.
On the button, man. On the button. Okay, this last one's very, very easy. I wanted to finish very, very easy before we start to dissect this actual match, okay, ahead of us. Give me the Roma player in the top 5 scoring of this fixture.
Oh.
All time. In the top 5 goal scorers in Roma versus Juve. Give me the one Roma player in the top 5.
Totti.
Sorry?
No, he's playing now, right? He's playing today. Lo, what are you doing to me, man?
The top 5 all time in the goal scoring fixture for this. Yeah. All time. The one Roma player in the top 5.
It's got to be Dybala, no?
Oh. That would
No, historically.
Oh, historically.
Historically, Roma versus Juventus, the one Roma player who's up there for top goal scorers.
Then it's got to be Totti.
Yeah.
Totti.
Yeah.
Totti. Give me one player ahead of him. There's only 2 that are ahead of him.
Lo, any guesses?
Del Piero.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay, that makes
ADP.
sense.
ADP. When in doubt, just go with ADP, man. He scored the most goals for Juve all time. So there you go. Totti, fun fact, the only other kits I have other than Juve and the Azzurri, I actually do have about 3 Totti kits because I was a massive, massive Totti fan, just the way he played the game and whatnot. So a little fun fact. But that doesn't account in the 128 kits or whatever Juve. The Azzurri ones and the Totti ones are separate. Only 3 Totti ones. So never wear them. I don't even really know. It's like I was young. I liked them. Like as a player and people were buying me these kits. I was like, well, I can't wear them. And they're like, yeah, but you like Totti. Yeah, I like him. I like the way he plays, but I don't, what am I doing with his jersey? You know, like I never wear it. I wear the Juve jerseys, but it is what it is. Maybe one day I'll get some of our affiliates like Gianni from Calcio Guys or Chris DeSantis. We'll see. Hopefully we can make Chris cry today with a good result, and maybe I'll send him one as you know,
consolation.
We'll feel better gift there, whatever. So yeah, we'll see. Guys, Juve Roma, the odds. Here's the odds. Anybody interested in making wagers or whatnot? Here you go. Juve pays 2.4. for a victory. The draw pays 3.2. Roma winning pays 3.1. So Juventus favorites, slight favorites in this one. Okay. Injuries for Roma, the key ones, obviously Wijnaldum and then Zaniolo landing on his shoulder, dislocating it. Okay. So key ones for them. For Juve, well, we know the case.
There's
Pogba, Chiesa, Bonucci still not ready to go. Di Maria, Arthur, Ake, and Caio Jorge. Okay. So there you go with
is Arthur actually hurt though, or is they're just saying he's hurt?
Arthur?
Yeah, Arthur.
He's getting. I think he's a little bit of the Ramsey factor in there.
Ramsey Island.
Yeah, out of shape, whatever. Who knows?
Fitness.
Roma, again, something's got to give in this one. So I see them being suspect at the back, and I get it. 2 clean sheets. Cremonese, Salernitana, they still allowed 14 and 13 shots respectively. Juve will get the opportunity to get these shots going, okay? They have to take advantage. They have to take advantage of that back line because for me, they're suspect. When you look at how they give up opportunities and whatnot, there's not that much organization back there. But you can expect them to kind of lock things down centrally. So we saw the team we played last, Sampdoria, do it a little bit differently, using one player ahead of the 2 defenders. So Vlahovic had 3 to deal with at all times. Mm-hmm. With Roma, it's going to be a little bit closer to 4 with Matic, Cristante, Smalling, Mancini, right? So it's going to be a little bit different, but I don't want to see him on an island. I've been making shouts. I would probably go 3-5-2 in this one, to be honest. I would put 2 strikers up there. I'd use Kostic as a wing back, and I would go Cuadrado on the other. I'd have 3 center backs and go from there. In the midfield, the 3 I'd pick, I would have 1 youngster in there, whether it be Rovella or Moretti. I'd have one of them in there. I personally think we'd gain more from having a Moretti in there and going Locatelli and even Zakaria as a 2, whatnot. But these are just me spitballing and whatever. So I want to know your guys' thoughts and how you feel about what I've laid out there and what you would particularly do. So, Luch, kick us off.
I like your idea of the 3-5-2 for this one, to be honest. And I think it would get, if you do decide to go with one of the young guys in the middle, it just gives them a little more protection. I also like if we haven't seen, and I don't think Roma has seen a lot of Moretti. So you're giving them kind of an unknown factor a little bit, throwing them a bit of a curveball. Like we know what he's capable of. They might not be up to it. So if I have to see Rabiot and McKennie again in a pivot or whatever the hell they got going on, I might just lose it, because you should be able to win a midfield with Matic and Cristante as your 2 CDMs. You should be able to control the ball, control the play with those 2 there. Like beat them with pace, beat them with skill, whatever it may be. I don't know. I'm nervous. I just didn't see enough against Sampdoria to say like I'm confident for this one, and that's the biggest factor. I don't think Roma is much better than us. Maybe a better attack, maybe a little more fluid, but on paper, like we're on par with them. It's just we are our own worst enemies at this time, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, Lowell, what do you think about me spitballing about a 3-5-2 in this one and getting 2 forwards up top?
Yeah, I think it makes sense because the difference between the 2 games is Di Maria. I think he was able to be that link to Vlahovic, and kind of float around him. And with him out, you need something else to be that link. So maybe Milik can do that. And if Moretti starts, I feel very good about the game. I think he did excellent against Sampdoria. So he can also help provide that link, that creativity that we desperately need in the middle. So I think those 2 things would be huge for us. And then, of course, 3-5-2, you put Kostic on the left. Anything that gets Sandro off the pitch, I sign off on.
Yeah. True. And I mean, honestly, like it makes sense for a lot of reasons. Number one, if we play like we have been, we saw firsthand, in Los Angeles, what they're doing in those training sessions. And you could spot it a mile away. You've got your Regista dropping back, and you've got those Metsalas immediately pushing forward, trying to break through the lines. The problem with doing that against Roma, again, is the firepower.
Yeah.
So you got guys, Pellegrini, you've got Dybala, you've got Tammy Abraham, whatnot. They can turn it so fast, and we've been seeing it in their first 2 games. So again, they've only scored 1 against Cremonese and 1 against Salernitana, but the opportunities, they could have easily had 4 or 5 goals in both of those matches. They hit posts as well and whatnot. They are fast. If we all of a sudden see that similar shape that we did against Sampdoria, and we get turnovers, which are going to happen, that's trouble. That is trouble. So immediately what my mind, working in a 3-5-2, at least you can flood that middle. You can take that strength away from them of quick moving, fluid football through the middle and fast counters. Force them on the outsides. Force them to play that ball outside and close up that gap in the middle. If we get into that same shape we saw against Sampdoria and we play a slow game, which can be a trait of Max's sides and whatnot, if we play a slow game, man, every time you turn over, it's going to be one of those moments where you're, on the edge of your seat, like, holy Christ, are we going to concede here or whatever? So don't get into that game. Don't play that game with Roma. Slow things down. Be controlling. Again, they didn't win the possession battle against Salernitana or Cremonese. Play 3-5-2. Control the play. Put your 3 midfielders in there. Give them the supports by the flanks. Get a third center back in there for coverage. That's the way I do it. Now, let's talk about these projections. So we got into a little bit earlier. Rovella potentially playing. No sight of Moretti on any projections. So the basic 2 main ones I've seen are a 4-3-3 with Locatelli on the side of Rovella, or you have 2-man pivot, Rabiot, Locatelli, and McKennie apparently going to be a trequartista with Kostic, Cuadrado, and then Vlahovic up top. But Danilo as the other center back next to Bremer. I love Danilo, but if you have 2 center backs, I'm fine with either Gatti or Rugani getting in there. Danilo can cover in multiple positions, but if you have guys that are actually there, and Rugani, he was reliable all last season. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't an issue when he played last game, even though a lot of people said, oh, watch for Rugani to mess this up. He wasn't. He was fine. There's no need to get too crazy with it, in my personal opinion. So what do you guys think about these 2 projections? And if we had to go with one, which one would you prefer? The Rovella to get Locatelli to the side, or 2-man pivot, Rabiot, Locatelli, and McKennie as trequartista? Let's get Lowe's first here and then get to Lucci.
I'd rather have Rovella and then move Luca to the side. I've been advocating for that for a long time. So I think it's a logical move to make.
Do you think Locatelli will be the answer for us as a Mitsala?
Better than Rabiot and McKennie.
Yeah, it could be. You want him to be further up the pitch than those guys. McKennie's at trequartista is hilarious, given his technical ability. So yeah, and then the Danilo thing. That doesn't make any sense, having him right there. And Rugani last game, I think he played well. He made a lot of long balls that he connected. So I have no issue with him playing.
Yeah. Luch, which one would you go with out of these projections?
Definitely not option 2. I do like Suarez. I don't even have to think about that, but I like Suarez's mention here of Luca, Moretti, and Zakaria, because I like the way Zakaria can get up and down the pitch very easily. Unlike Rabiot, unlike McKennie. Okay, McKennie, yes, but I like Zakaria's box-to-box game a lot better than Rabiot and McKennie. That's probably not an option. We saw Moretti not in any of the possible lineup. So I'm definitely going with Rovella, Locatelli, and I guess Rabiot on the other side, because that seems to be Max's thing. Danilo, I guess I get it. He has a little more confidence in him than Gatti and Rugani. I don't know, but I'd be more comfortable if it was a back 3 with Danilo, not just a regular back four. I think he would need 2 real center backs to help cover him, because let's face it, it's not his natural position. He's, he might get caught out of position once in a while. He might not, expect certain things, but it's a risky lineup nonetheless. No matter if it's McKennie and Rabiot, if it's Danilo as a center back, we're taking risks, and not good ones, not progressive offensive ones.
So Swarit here has come with that was my midfield I've been naming all week. I named it immediately after Sampdoria. I say if I go into Roma, I'm looking at Miretti, Locatelli, and Zaccaria, but I would play Locatelli in the heart of it and let Miretti take over the higher up top duties and whatnot. But that was going to be my midfield, and I would probably roll with that. Animesh saying maybe Max wants a center back with some passing range, which is why he starts Danilo over Rugani. But I don't know if you could say Danilo's got more range than Rugani. I mean, he showed a good range, Rugani, against Samp, a little more than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think the best way is the way Lucci just put it in the lineup. I think there's a lot of risk involved. There's a lot of risk. And if 4-3-3, hybrid 4-4-2, whatever, again, if we open ourselves up in that shape, okay, that we saw against Sampdoria, we open ourselves up to one of their strengths, which is the counter, and immediately up the top through their best players. They're going to play a 3-4-2-1. That's how Roma's been shaping up. So to me, this weird little circle we had against Sampdoria can't take place. Like, it's got to be, you've got to have your guys in the middle, clogging up the lanes, force them to the outsides. Match up with Spinazzola, but also be ready to counter him. And the 3-5-2 allows you to kind of do that. And again, possession is going to be huge in this. Juve's got to be very, very smart in possession and be able to hold them back, because if we can't, then they're going to be able to counter us very, very quickly. And they can build up very nicely. And that's the part of the game that Juve needs to evolve. And it hasn't for the past several years. When we have the ball and we're controlling a game, that's when we need to learn how to create opportunities. And that's where we can't find our game. The counters, all this, like, that's fine when those opportunities present themselves. But it's being able to control possession and still find ways to create. It's patterns of play. I saw a question earlier on in the live chat. I'm sorry, because you guys are always active as hell. I can't find it right now. But somebody asked, do you find Max's system outdated? Well, it's not necessarily like it's outdated per se, because the thing is, you will find managers across Europe and whatnot that some play more defensive. Some play a little more foot on the throttle. It's not that his style's outdated. It's that his style right now and the way the team plays is incomplete. It's incomplete. Okay. It's there's no patterns of play that I'm seeing that make sense, that link up, that cohesion isn't there. So it's not necessarily that his system is outdated. It's just that right now this team is incomplete in how they play. Go ahead.
What is his system? What, like, do we have an idea of what he's trying to achieve? Because I haven't seen much.
Well, for me, like, I don't know, like, I'm separating system from actual, like, gameplay and overall performances and whatnot. Like, I don't know what, like, his system is clearly something that's going to be defense first. Like, he's focusing on defense first. He's holding back his regista. They're not advancing fully with fullbacks, okay? And they're pretty compact and tight at the back. He's literally, like I said, so reliant on these guys up top to create. But it's up top, and it's in that buildup where we lose all sight of creation. Runs off the ball, movement off the ball, and whatnot. And guys like, this is why I said last game, guys like McKennie, guys like Rabiot, they're not going to bring you what you need. They are not those type of players. So if you're going to leave it so reliant on these guys up top, and then you're going to slap two of your Mitsalas playing with their back to a back line, that's not their game. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. it was a mess out there. So I don't really know. I just see a defense first base, but offensively, there's nothing there. Like it's incomplete in phases. And Low, you know just as good as I, because we watched it in Los Angeles, and you see it in that training session, and we were all sitting there like, okay, we've just worked on getting the ball out from the back for 20, 30 minutes, and they did nothing once the ball gets up there to our wingers and our forwards. I'm like, are you going to do the next phase of and they did nothing. They did nothing. You know what the forwards worked on? Fast breaks. 3 forwards versus defenders, fast breaks. And it basically became Vlahovic doing step overs and beating Rugani for shots on target. I'm like, that is not how you work on an offense. And I gave them the benefit of doubt. I said, obviously, there's got to be more they've done through the week or whatnot. But when you watch this team play, we've been joking about it, about our trip to LA. And I've been talking to Saeed about it. And it's like, man, it's like that training session all over again. There's no patterns there. It's very disjointed from one phase to the next. And it's funny because those patterns of play we saw in the training session come up in every game. You could see it like clockwork. Hey, goes here, watch the outsides quickly jump out. Bremer slides out, ball there, out we go. And then the patterns of play stop. I didn't see any other patterns of play for up the top. And this is what I mean. It's incomplete. It's incomplete. But Lo, you remember all that?
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah, we went through 45 minutes and like we haven't scored any goals against no defense, or very little defense. So it was sad. It was a little shocking. But yeah, I mean, I thought, oh, they're not going to show that to the public. They're probably working on that behind closed doors. But given especially this
another shocker was McKennie's finishing.
Yeah,
because they did do work in getting him shot opportunities and whatnot, and he missed all of them. Couldn't even hit target. So putting our faith in him as a Mezzala, for me, he's a crash and bang midfielder, man. Like he is a Mezzala, box to box. He'll get in there, create some havoc in the area, but we cannot rely on him technically, and we shouldn't be doing it when you have Miretti that's available to you.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's how I feel. But this is going to be a very, very tough one. This is going to be a very, very tough one. We're going to get to predictions, everybody. We changed how we do it here, though, and we're going to give Lorenzo, our guest, the honors of going first. Okay,
sucks.
We changed how we do it. You got final score, and then any 2 categories of your choice to try and get this right. So let's get Lowe's first, then we'll go with Lucci, and then we'll go with mine. So Lorenzo, you can start off. We need 3 predictions. One of them has to be final score.
Okay, final score. I'll go 2-1 for Juve. Do you need goal scorers?
You can do any other 2 categories you want. You can go offsides. You can go shots on target. You can go, yellow card. First yellow card. What minute?
First yellow card will be at 37th minute. I'll go early. So I'm being aggressive. And then offside, I'll say there'll be 7 offside.
7 offsides.
Wow.
Ooh, for Juve?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Luch, let's get your 3 predictions.
I'm not as optimistic as Mr. Lolo here, so I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to go goal scorer is going to be Vlahovic because no one else on this team can score, especially not McKennie. And I'll go 8 shot attempts with 3 on target.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in the live chat here. Unbelievable right now. Trying to get this user out of here. There we go. Get out of here. Oh. What the hell is back? These bots. Every time Lucci's on the show, clean up those cookies, man.
What? It's not
clean
me.
Up those cookies. Low. Maybe it's you. You brought the bots, man. My my God, that was insane. Okay, had to get the bots out of there. I was going to go 1-1, but we learn not to ever follow Lucci's suit. Okay, so if he's going 1-1, I'm going 2-1. I'm going 2-1 for you. Man, I was going to say 1-1, though. I have the feeling this is going to be a draw. But I'll go 2-1. I'll go with the victory. I'm going to go with I'm going to try and nail the goal scorers for Juve. And I'm going to say Vlahovic gets 1. And then I'm going to say that 1 comes maybe, just maybe, out of the midfield.
Malik.
And I will say maybe it's Locatelli. Locatelli gets in there for 1. So I'll go with those. As far as another one, we're going to get, let's go with offsides 3 for Juve. So 3 offsides. Those are going to be my predictions. And yeah, again, everybody, I'm getting ready for the watch along. Okay, what the game time I believe is 9:30. So roughly 3 hours away from the match. Okay, and we're gonna get it together, get it fired up. This is a big one. This is a big one for Juve. This is a big one for Max. The pressure just keeps mounting and mounting on him. So he's got to sort it out, and he's got to answer the questions. And there's a lot of Juventini that have been thinking like we're going to be tied for 4 years and whatnot, regardless of what happens. There's a lot of negative feelings, and it's only 2 games in, but it's a lot of change. We did have a lot of guys in that lineup the last game that wouldn't necessarily be there, but I understand the feelings that you have to get it together so that it's plug and play for all these players, right? You know, you got to get this game to a point where this team can play regardless of who's there, especially our injury history. That tells us that, right? Got to be able to figure this out. This Carota that's coming up in this live chat, like, what the heck, you guys? Who the hell is Hector Carota? Gregory Carota? This is insanity right now. I think we made it. We always joke that, you know, once you start getting the bots like that, once you start getting it, yeah, we got in there. But this Carota thing, my God, get the hell out of here. Patrizia Burlami, get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how I feel. Anthony and I were very vocal about Max this year, giving him about a third of the season, right? Like to kind of get things together. So we're 2 games in. I'm not going to write it off now, but he's got to definitely show us more with what he has. But for me, I can deal with a lot. I need the bare minimum to be there, which is drive and effort, determination. And when you start a game flat against Sampdoria, I don't know. That leaves bad feelings for me. That's the bare minimum. Work your asses off. Okay, go out there and fight, regardless of who's on the pitch. But when young guys, when 19-year-olds come off the bench and show your starters what's up, eye-opener, Max. Eye-opener. Time to change. God damn, Carota. What do you guys think about that?
But this is why I get frustrated, because you're seeing more from these youngsters in 20, 30 minutes than you've seen from McKennie and Rabiot for the first 70. So why would you not want to give them a chance? It just doesn't make sense to me. You're going with the same thing. You know what you're getting every time. Same thing. Keep running the same midfield. Same problems every game. Why not? Yeah. You saw Moretti fighting. You saw him winning challenges, winning the ball back. Great vision on that plate to Vlahovic that led to the offside goal. But like, I didn't see McKennie or Rabiot do that in the past 2.5 years. Never mind 20 minutes.
And for me, it's the characteristics. It's the characteristics of the players and putting them together. And for me, the frustrating part is when we talk about a lineup, a starting lineup, and say, I don't know. We look at this and that's pretty, like, I think we're going to struggle here, here, and here. When we do struggle here, here, and here after calling it from our couches at home, that's the part that's frustrating, right? So I don't know. it's hard to kind of just side with Max and say, oh, we need time, we need this and that, when you can spot him a mile away.
Yeah.
He's got to get the mix right in the middle of the park. We do have a Storm the Barn. We could take a few Storm the Barn questions. We got about another 5 minutes here or whatnot. If Juve plays badly and lose, will Max be crucified tomorrow? Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, he will be crucified tomorrow. If
think he
we
means
play
fired.
strong and lose, he won't be crucified. I will say that. If
Okay.
we play a strong game and we lose, I would be okay with that. I gave Max the benefit of the doubt last season when we lost that match to Inter. As much as I hate losing to those guys, we played our best match, and I was like, that's
Yep.
what I expect game in, game out. And when you set a bar like that in terms of performances, we haven't matched it since. We never matched it again since. And we didn't have all our guys for that match either.
Mm-hmm.
So when, we want to use these injuries and all that sure, the quality is going to get better, but the performances, like overall, the drive, the ambition, that needs to remain steady the whole way.
Yeah.
So that bar, that's what I set in terms of how they play. What do you guys think? Have we ever matched that game after that?
No, that was one of our best games within the past long while, I think. And again, like we see this fight, this desire from the youngsters. Where's that from? Rabiot, McKennie, Artur, Sandro, like the list can go on.
Yeah. I think Max will be crucified if we play badly and lose because, again, it's Sampdoria, then Roma. This is a big game, whatnot. This is also coming off a year where he didn't beat any of the top 4 teams that we were competing with and whatnot. So, Lo, you think he's going to get crucified, play bad and lose?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
anytime we play poorly, Max gets a lot of the blame. A lot of it's deserved. So, naturally.
You have a manager that's the highest paid in Serie A. Is
Yeah.
it wrong for fans to expect more than what we're seeing?
No.
I mean, if he got results consistently, I'm okay with however you win. But that's because that's what he asked to be judged on, solely results. So for me, that's the criteria. Is based on results. Other managers asked to be judged on performance and results. So I'll judge those managers accordingly. But for Max, results is really what matters. So
I think if we play poorly and he's playing pretty much the same 11 as he did last week, he deserves all the criticism possible. Again, that's on him. No one's making the starting 11 decisions other than him. And if you're going with the same guys who failed last week against a worse team, it's on the coach.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of it comes down to what you're getting out of the players you have and where you stand again. Like if he gets crucified, for me, it's got to be for, again, you kind of set the bar against Inter of what the expectations should be, match in, match out. If your players or your team can't replicate that on a consistent basis, it's up to you to figure out how to get them to replicate that. Okay? It's not up to me. It's up to Max. If you've got one of the top goal scorers in Serie A and we come out scoring 57 goals total this season, that's a big, big failure. We need to score more. We need to score more goals. Max's challenge going into this year, I expect more goals because 57 is not going to cut it if you want to compete with the upper echelon.
Mm-hmm.
So far, from what I'm seeing in gameplay, we haven't figured out how to create, and that was a big problem. 57 goals, but we struggled to create last year. Again, creation issues. But you want to put it into these players and whatnot. Well, he's not using guys that might be able to help that. So
exactly.
Maybe, just maybe, Allegri out and Carota in. I don't know this Carota guy, but maybe those bots were trying to tell us something. I don't know. Comment of the game, the comment of the Matchday live right there. Allegri out, Carota in. We should put that across Twitter. Carota, next manager of Juve. This is going to be a big one. I'm I'm nervous about it. We'll see what we can dial up. The thing with Juve too is I always am hopeful and have faith that against the tougher teams, tougher opposition, tough matches, they show up and they put up those games. So we'll see. Against Inter last year, we did, but then we couldn't end up putting it together for the victory. Why? Because we couldn't execute and we couldn't score the goals. Hopefully that's not the case today. Hopefully we get the W. I would love a clean sheet. I'm not going to hold my breath on that. We do face a tough test. Paulo Dybala's return to Turin. Hopefully, has him crying like the first goodbye and whatnot. So let's get the victory, guys, okay? Let's see what's going to happen. Everybody, go enjoy a couple hours. I'm going to be back here for the watch-along, all right? I hope to see you all there. Do whatever you got to do. If you're superstitious, do whatever the hell you got to do that brings victories, okay? So I haven't even decided on a kit. I have a rotation for big games. You'll have to tune in to see which one I went with. Lorenzo, absolute pleasure having you on. We will do it again. We'll see if your predictions are good, okay, and see what we can do. Everybody else, remember, tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, that is going to be the post-match podcast, and I will name the names who are going to basically take part in the trivia challenge. We're going to give away 3 Juventus kits, 22-23, okay? And we have the names. Tomorrow they'll be announced. Go enjoy yourselves. I'll see you back in a couple hours for the watch-along. Fino alla fine, Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.